All right. Hey, we got in here. Welcome, KuyaStorm channel. Just hanging out. If you got questions or reasonable comments, go ahead and ask. If you're stupid, I'll ban you. Just getting going. Welcome, everybody. Just hanging out outside at the moment. 10 people. Welcome. So this channel is about the Philippines. I'm moving to the Philippines. Got my passport on Friday, and Friday. It felt like a Friday, the 3rd of July. So I guess that was Tuesday, Wednesday. I got it. And I'm about 5 weeks from moving to the Philippines. Not just for a trip, but I'm actually moving out there to live. So it is a permanent move. Pretty excited about it. And there goes my equipment. Thanks to my umbrella for some shade. All right, that was fun. Get that fixed back up. Get that arm down. All right. Little gusty, I guess. Guessing that'll happen about 10 more times. But it's about 90 degrees at my house, which for the Seattle area is hot. So I can't just not have the umbrella up. I would be lobster red in about 45 minutes. So if you have any questions or things you want to talk about, go for it. Be appropriate, be reasonable, or you just get banned. Bans are free, so if you're stupid, then you're gone. It is it's a quarter to 2 p.m. Pacific time. What do I look for in a man? I'm not looking for a man. I like Filipinas. What am I doing? I'm hanging out outside, enjoying some fresh air, getting ready to move to the Philippines in about 5 weeks. It's not a vacation trip, it's a permanent move. Doing an early retirement. I'm 49, my Filipina is 32, and she's gorgeous. I'll show you. Just gotta find the right picture. And no, she's not just online that's talking nicely to me and pulling my leg. She's a YouTuber. She's got almost 13,000 subscribers. So pick a penis site? No, Mark Wharton. You know exactly who that is. That's Chi. Pick a pena. Good grief. In fact, I'm pretty sure I met Mark Wharton in her live stream. So Mark's being a smartass. Oh, I figured it sounded like you were pulling my leg. But I figured if you're going to flip me shit, be ready for me to flip it back to you. I'm pretty hard to offend unless you start talking crap about my girl and then stand by. So we have a place that we found. She's going to do a little more searching today and see if she finds other ones. Yeah, she still sleeps. She gets up probably in about 45 minutes. She usually sleeps until about 5:30 Philippines time and then wakes up every day at 5:30 to open up her Sorry store. So she's up early every day. Chris Mel, welcome. Big lift shout out. Magandang umaga po. Kumusta ka? You're in Australia, correct? Mark Warden? Brett, it is long distance, but it's only recently started, and I'm moving there in less than 6 weeks. So it's not a long-term, long-distance relationship. I was already in the process of getting ready to move there when we started talking. So, and I was already planning on going to the same island that she lives on before I met her. So I'm not going there for her. She's an added bonus, and I'm not going to that island because of her. I was already going there. It's just a bonus that I met her when I was already planning on going, and I'm moving to the same island that she's on. Whew, I don't know. Can kangaroos be pets? I know some people have them, but I know at least the males can be mean. I mean, they'll come up and punch you. I've seen pictures of them. They look like a freaking weightlifter, and they hang back on. They'll kind of stand up high on their legs and lean back on their tail, and then they'll like launch forward and just punch you like a boxer, or kick you. And kicking you is bad because they've got crazy long claws or nails or whatever you want to call them, so they can shred you. Yeah. Maybe the females are docile, but the males are territorial and nasty. Jester's Journey, welcome, buddy. Good afternoon. I got a bit more sleep last night. I slept till about, well, I woke up, I got sleep about 1:30 and I woke up at 7 and then stayed up for, I was waiting until 7:30 to call my boss to see if they needed me today, even though it was early for them to know. He said, yeah, just don't worry about coming in today. And he said if he needed me tomorrow on Saturday that he would call me today and let me know. So if I don't hear from him today, then I'm off through until Monday too. Yeah, man, kangaroos are native animals. Of course, they just roam around. How you doing, Jester? This was iced Death Wish. However, it did not last nearly as long as even it did yesterday. Yesterday, it was iced for about 45 minutes. Now it's lukewarm Death Wish coffee. Yeah, I hear you, Brad. I live in the Seattle area, so our weather is, I think, pretty similar to how it is in the UK. I'm going to do that on my other phone. Do. I don't see any content, Brad, but I did subscribe to you. You have 3 weekends or I have 3 weekends? I don't have much more than that. Oh my goodness. In fact, pretty soon I'm going to have to make myself not do much, if any, lives until I get my stuff gone through. Right now I'm just putting it off, and then it'll be a scramble to get it done, but that tends to be how I thrive. I get down to the wire and then I kick into overdrive and buckle down to get it done. Yeah, that's coming up pretty quick. I don't have a lot more time than that. Mine's coming up like a brick wall, but I'll get it done. Last weekend I was tired because I was changing my sleep schedule to day shift. Now I'm pretty adjusted to that, but it's 4th of July weekend, so that's my rationalization for myself to take it easy this weekend. But Chip's been doing some stuff. He's been cleaning things up because I wouldn't have charged him rent anyway, but he wanted to be helping out since he was going to be here and using electricity and food and stuff. So I just told him if he helped clean stuff up and go through stuff, then I wouldn't charge him rent. Like I said, I wouldn't have charged him rent anyway. But this gives him, makes him feel like he's being useful and contributing. He's old school and doesn't want to feel like a mooch. I'd have been happy just having him here, but man, those meals he's been cooking. I've been eating better the last 2 or 3 weeks than I did for the last 3 years. So it's nice to have some company. Yep. I do mine, and then I go to Jasper's, and then I go to Cheese. And I wasn't going to stay all the way through Cheese, but I just couldn't break myself away. And then I was getting ready to go to sleep, and she ended her live so she could go to her auntie's house. They were having a birthday party for one of the cousins or something, so a big family get together. So I chatted with her for a little bit, and then when Sheila went to her aunt's house, I went to sleep. Woke up at 7, used the restroom, let the dogs out. I was waiting until 7:30 to call my boss, see if I had to work today or not. And then I was going to go back to sleep after that, and I checked the messages, and she was already up. Or she wasn't up. She had gotten home from her aunt's house and made a couple of her shorts with toys. I think people like let their kids look at them, and it just plays over and over, so it's good for little kids. And it gets her views. So she had just gotten done making those and posting those to YouTube. And then I messaged her and we chatted for probably an hour. And then I kept asking, "Are you tired? Do you want to sleep?" She's like, "I'm not sleepy yet." And then we were talking some more, and then finally she's like, "Can I sleep?" I'm like, "Of course you can sleep. You just got to tell me you're getting tired. You don't have to ask permission to sleep." Yeah. Get some Benadryl too, and take a Benadryl like an hour before you go to bed. She's going to look a little more today at some other places. We did find a place for 20,000 pesos a month, which is about approximately 400 US. It's a 1 CR for the non-Philippines familiar. A CR is comfort room, and that's what they call their bathroom. And they're usually somewhat small, and the whole thing's tiled. So your toilet's in there, but so is your shower and your sink. So some of the newer units or remodeled units may have a separate shower, pushed a little further back, but most of them, they're just right there. So the whole kind of bathroom is basically the bathroom / shower stall. So it's a 2-bedroom, 1 CR. I think it said hot and cold water. If it's not, I'll put it in. Both bedrooms have split inverter AC units. So aircon. So those are the newer, more efficient, use less electricity, so less power bill AC units. It does come furnished, which a lot of the higher end units don't come furnished. You know, like Airbnb stuff would, but a lot of the rentals don't look like they're furnished. But this thing's fully furnished. It's got a washing machine, so she's not going to have to wash by hand. She's going to look a little more today, but if she doesn't find something else today, then that'll probably be the one we go to. And it is in a subdivision, so it's not a separate standing house. It's kind of a townhouse style. It does not have a yard. It has a pretty big front, fully covered area that you can use for, like, if they were going to do laundry outside, or you want to put in kind of a dirty kitchen slash parking pad. That looks, I think it's gravel. I don't think it's cement. Maybe it is. But it's covered, so we could go out there and sit in the rain and talk and stuff. Do you know if YouTube gets bad if you delete non-viewed shorts? I don't know. I know a guy that got hacked, and it took him a long time to get it back. And then when the hacker didn't actually delete his videos, the hacker put them to private or unlisted. And then when he went back in and made them public again, suddenly he had, like, it was suspended for copyright strikes or something, and he had to work with YouTube again to get those removed because he didn't actually upload somebody else. Basically was saying that he was re-uploading somebody else's content, and all he did was, he didn't even re-upload them. All he did was change them from private or unlisted back to public so people could see him again. But he got all that cleared up finally. So I don't know, you know, you might just leave them up and rework it and just leave it as an extra short. Somebody may stumble on it. And then if they try and say that you're re-uploading somebody else's content, you can say, no, look at my other one. I just reworked it. So I would probably just do that, or make it, I don't know. But I've seen several channels like that Robot Girl short that I sent you last night. There were several versions of it, and I found like 5 different channels that had uploaded that short. So I don't think it would really hurt you much. But if it's something that's up and you need to edit it, say there's a copyright mark on it, not a strike, because a strike you want to take it down. But if it's just something that you're not quite happy with, maybe make it private or unlisted. Yeah, right on. Well, if it doesn't have views, I mean, look at it. If it doesn't really have any views, then maybe take it. Maybe just, I wouldn't delete it. I would set it to private or unlisted, one of the two, and then rework it and put it up again. But unless it's something that's like got a ton of views, I doubt that YouTube would throw a fuss about another video clip going back up. But I don't, you know, I'm not even monetized, so I could be wrong. Thank you, Chris Mel. I appreciate you coming in. Chris Mel TV, Mega Love shout out. So yeah, let's see. It's a, like I said, 2-bedroom with AC, inverter AC, so the better AC, 1 CR, fully furnished. Outside is it's a big covered pad. It's so that's nice. I don't see a gate or a fence, so I don't know that I would put anything out there that would be expensive or worth taking like overnight. Although the subdivision we're in is within a gated community, so it is gated and fenced, so there is security. It's low on amenities at the moment. It's got a playground and a basketball court, and then it says future pool. But I mean, looking in some of the pictures, you can tell there's a bunch of the units around. Well, the big covered area, we could take him out there. So it would be fine for him for the 30 days. If it was 6 months, it wouldn't work, but it'll definitely be okay for a 30-day quarantine. And it's a year minimum lease. But what we'll do is then start looking around various places and exploring and looking for our next place. This will be a really good next or our initial place. And part of the reason we're trying to find a place that's so cheap, and it'll give us time to explore around. Maybe we can find something that's one of the ultra cheap ones, like Expensive Expat or Overstay Road, that found them for $50 or under US. And if you get something that cheap, even if you put some money in it to paint it and fix it up a bit, it's still going to be cheaper than renting a more expensive place over the same amount of time. So this being only $400 a month, there's some nice places that are, really, really beautiful places, but they're just under $600 or at $600 a month. And one is like basically the fence by the beach side it looks about 5 to 10 feet from the ocean. And that would be cool, but again, it was still about $580. No, it was more than that. No, that's about right, 580. Yeah, it was about 580. And that doesn't really give us, well, I'm trying to keep the cost down, because the more extra money we have that's not going into our rental, the more times we can do island hopping trips or go to Boracay, or put money in savings. So this one being $400 a month will leave more money to do trips and things, and anything that's not covered by it being furnished. Like, we'll have to spend $600 to get a Starlink unit. It says it is Starlink. They're allowed to put it up. I asked if somebody had gone out with the app and verified it, and they said no. So that built in a little more time for her to do some more checking in case she finds a place that's same price or lower priced, but has like trees and stuff around it. Because this place it's not wooded or jungle like, or you're just in a townhome in a pretty developed area. But like I said, it's a starter place. We'll have a year to find another one, and if we can find one of those fixer uppers that's $100 or less a month, we could still go ahead and rent that, because that would put us at $500 a month for the two rentals, which is still cheaper than paying for the $600 a month. So we'll try and do that, and maybe we can find a place that's a little further out, kind of semi-province. We'd both like to have some coconut trees, which in Tagalog would be buko, and maybe some mangoes and some banana trees or banana plants, however you call them. Yeah, we've got, well, Mary Rose does some realtor stuff, even though she's working at Bendoy Hospital. She's looked a bit for me, but she was looking, even though I told her 500 was the cap, she was looking mostly at probably things that she would think Jasper would like. So I don't think even though I sent her videos too from Expensive Expat to show her what kind of thing I was talking about on the cheap side, but the ones she showed me were still 600 or 750. And the rise in rental costs are going to be in the cities and the big tourist areas like Dumaguete and the area around it, because there's so many foreigners in the Dumaguete area that there's like 4 other towns that are kind of surrounding it, kind of like suburbs. And most of those units have been by now either torn down and new things developed or put in, or refurbed for rentals, either long-term or Airbnb style, or that kind of thing. So that area is going to be more expensive. I asked her if what she thought about maybe going to Lausanne. Expensive expat is up by Porak, which is basically about midpoint if you were taking the main road from Manila to Baguio. And then just a little bit west of it is another highway. So you've got a road that goes relatively straight up, kind of winds a little bit, but relatively straight from Manila up toward the northwestern coast and then cuts over to Baguio. But Porak is about half an hour from Clark Air Force Base, which is now Clark International Airport. Yeah, and I think he said it's about 45 minutes or an hour from Angeles, which I'm not interested in going to Angeles, but just for a reference point, if anybody knows where that's at. Because he's found his place is $36 a month, and it's a one bedroom, and it was not in great shape when he got it, but he's put maybe 12 grand into it, and he's got a rock solid lease that's notarized and stuff, so they can't be like, oh, well, you improved it, and now we're going to kick you out and rent it to somebody else. He's got them pretty wrapped around the axle on, and they just were happy that somebody was renting it. So 36 a month. He's put about, I don't know, 10 or 12,000 into it, and because all they told him to do was just paint the outside. I saw your question about health insurance. He painted the outside, but he also basically remodeled the entire inside. The cabinets that were in there were garbage. He put in new cabinets, new sink, and all of that. He got appliances. It's very nice inside. It's a little small for what I would want. I mean, it would be great for Chi and I, but we do want to have kids at some point. But it's got a huge lot. That's what's interesting about it. It's a small little one bedroom place with a dirty kitchen outside, covered on one side, and then in the kitchen there was a window, and he got permission to have him basically where the window was, cut that out and put in, I can't remember if it's French doors or a slider. So everything he's doing when he ends up leaving at some point, he'll still have saved money even though he remodeled it over renting a more expensive place. And he had him put in more cement, so you open the slider or the French doors out of the kitchen, and you've got a nice big cement pad, and he's got an outdoor bar, like walk inside of it and make drinks from the inside of it and hand them to people sitting around the outside of the bar, covered really nice, made out of bamboo with thatching and stuff, so it looks very what you would expect in the Philippines. And the guy that made it is like 70 or 75 years old, and he's been doing traditional bamboo construction for like 50 some years, but even so it's still cheap. So he's got that going on. And then when he goes on travel, like on trips and stuff, either around Southeast Asia or the Philippines, it's $36 a month rent, so no big deal. But he's also got it fixed up so nice, he's gonna, like, let's say he's leaving for a few weeks, he's gonna Airbnb it out, and if he gets even a night, even probably one night or a couple nights a month, that's gonna cover his rent for possibly multiple months. So he'll essentially be living there rent free. Obviously he's put money into it, but again, in the long run he's saved money, and that gives him a much larger amount of money to be able to travel more often and travel farther. So I would like to find something like that, and a yard that big. I don't know the square meters of the whole lot, but it's a big yard. Like, it's not a small fenced lot. It's what you would consider a big lot. If you've seen some Sunshine Shoulders videos and lots that he's showing, To me, compared to some of those lots, it looks like it's 2 to 3 of those lots that he walks by in the San Carlos area. Now, as far as healthcare, I don't have it sorted yet, but I know the resources to use to get health insurance. I know Geo lists some travel health insurance places, and I think it was him or another channel. I've got it saved on one of my accounts, and I'll find it. I save everything important to a Philippines playlist. There's a guy, an American, that's in the Philippines. I think he's in Manila. It could have been Cebu, but he was an insurance agent in the U.S. for like 30 or 40 years. And now he's retired in the Philippines, but he does insurance, sells insurance in the Philippines. So he's got the right visa and the business license and work permit and all that stuff to do that kind of thing there. And I haven't talked to him yet, and that's really, I'm really short on time now. But for people that are planning it out ahead of time, you can contact him, and you can't start it before you land, but he can have all the paperwork done. And basically, you touch down and you call him and say, I'm in Manila Airport, turn on my health insurance, and it's done. And you have health insurance instantly. Maybe you'd have to go to his office and sign papers, but I don't think that's required. I just don't think he can activate it until you're physically in, as far as, and he, a legality for him so that he can show, if he had to, your visa stamp to show that you were in the Philippines per your visa stamp when they started covering you. That way, if something happened and you weren't in the Philippines yet, there isn't a real hassle with, well, I was already covered even though I'm not in the Philippines. Give me insurance coverage. No, you weren't there yet, dude. So I think that's the biggest reason, that is just to avoid people trying to be jackasses and doing stupid claims on stuff like that. And there's different levels of it, and it's not expensive. It's not like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I think some of them are $100 or less, maybe $100 a month, and you can choose whether it's a Philippine peso plan or a US dollar plan. And the amounts of stuff it covers is very good. And I don't know which coverage Rike has, but he lives in Bohol, and he just had his appendix out. He said the health care was really good, and I forget now what the amount was he paid, but it was, I don't know, a 10th or a 15th of the cost that it would have been in the US. Because that's essentially, even though it's a common surgery, that's still would be considered a major abdominal surgery. And I think it was under $1,000. And that's like the surgery, the anesthesia, antibiotics. I can't remember if he stayed for a day or if he was in and out the same day. But that's phenomenal. Yeah, Makati, Manila is the big one there, is St. Luke's. That's basically the best hospital in the Philippines. And they also have a very highly rated heart unit. And I want to say like neonatal. So St. Luke's, that's part of the reason I chose the area around Dumaguete. Like I said before, is I'm not trying to be around a bunch of expats, but I wanted to choose a place that I liked the scenery and the stuff that's around it to do. So Negros for me fit really well. But if I need a hospital, Dumaguete has one. If I need a better hospital, they actually have an airport, and I can catch a flight to Cebu for a little better hospital, or I can take a flight to Manila and get to St. Luke's. or from either Cebu or Manila, I can get an international flight if it's not an emergency situation, but I need to go back to the U.S. for some overall better health care for if there's a non-emergent system or situation, but something important. I can quickly get to an international airport, even if I have to take a hop on a, I call it turboprop, I call it pterodactyl air. They can be a little sketchy. Over in the Philippines, I'm sure it's nice, but I took one when I went to after boot camp. They flew us from Chicago to like Boston, and then they flew us by turboprop to New London / Groton, Connecticut, to go to sub school and A school. And it was not good weather, and that thing was bebopping around. I was a little fearful for my life. It was bad weather that day. Yeah, I know I'm breaking a lot of the expat vlogger rules, but I have done a crap ton of research, a crap ton of planning, and even though I don't have some of the dates, times, specific names, I know the things that I need to do, and I know if it comes down to it, I can hop over to like Gio's website, and he has a full list of recommended hotels and people for various services or websites to go through for stuff. So I'm definitely not going in unprepared, I don't feel. And like you're seeing, it's not like I'm like, oh, well, give me a minute, let me find it. I can just boom, 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 boom. I know the information off the top of my head. So you can see I'm not just some green American that has no idea what they're doing, and they buy a ticket and show up and don't know what's going on. I already know a lot of prices for things and ways to handle stuff. I've already installed the Grab app and Shopee and Lazada and things like that. I've already got, I have 3 devices now. This phone that I'm using so that I can type in the live chat or set people to moderator. This is my Philippines phone. I outright bought a S24 Ultra 512 gigabyte that does not have service. I just bought it straight off Amazon. I did look around. Culture shock, I'm not really worried about culture shock. I think the biggest thing for there is patience. Customer service will be one that I'll have to get used to, but I usually do my own thing anyway, so I'm not super worried about customer service. And people talk about waiting for a long time for slow checkouts and things at grocery stores. I already had to get used to that when I lived in Hawaii. You know, that was like 20 years ago, but I still remember it, and that was a big shock. But you slow yourself down over the first few months to island life. So Philippines time, Hawaiian time, island time, it's all somewhat similar. Things are a lot more streamlined in Hawaii because it is the US, but at the same time, you're not at, like, say, Walmart. Beep, beep, beep. It's like beep, and they're kind of talking to the person. Beep, another item. So I'm used to standing there for like 5 or 10 minutes for one person ahead of me because they're busy talking story about something, because they're probably distant cousins and they know each other from family get-togethers and things. Oh, other expats, yeah. But I was explaining that I have, it's not just the research. I actually, because I was in the Navy and I lived in Hawaii for 3 years, that's actual hands-on experience. And people are like, oh, that's still US. I will tell you, yes, Hawaii is the US, but Hawaii is still a culture shock. You're still a minority. You still have to adjust to island time. If until you make Hawaiian friends, there's a lot of places you do not go, or do not go after dark, or you may not be bothered, but you'll be getting a lot of stink eye, what they call kind of side eye or dirty looks. You'll be getting stink eye if you go to certain places. Now, if you go to a certain place and you are with even one other Hawaiian person that they can tell is dark skinned and a local, they're fine. They're like, oh, another Hawaiian has already accepted them, and so that means they've already checked them out and found out that they're a good person to be around, and then they're super friendly to you too. It's just like, and that, so in on that aspect, I think that's actually more difficult than going to the Philippines, because Filipinos are such happy, friendly people. They don't have to know you. They'll still be friendly, and if you stop and have a conversation with them and you're near their place, they may invite you in for a snack or a meal. Now, if you're touring through Tondo, maybe you don't want to go into super far into somebody's residence. You know, you might step on into the shade and have something from them, but you know, you can be a total stranger and they'll offer you a snack or offer you food. And watching a lot of those videos and just walk around videos, Crypto Trekker, Crypto with a K, he does walk through videos, and he doesn't, or a walk around video, walk through neighborhoods or various types of places. He never shows his face, he never talks, he just films him walking through them, and you're just seeing how people are, you know, they're looking around, they're going about their day, they're walking. Some of them look and wave at the camera, but most of them just quietly walking through. And he's even upgraded it to 4K. And it's very interesting. Even people that are in like places like Tondo and some of the less fortunate areas, they're still smiling, friendly, waving at you. Hey, how you doing? You know, you can be walking through and there'll be a basketball court or kind of an air hockey table, or what's the one with the handles? You know what I'm talking about? Table hockey. Air hockey and table hockey are different, even though they're both on a table. And you can just basically start playing with them, and they just treat you like, oh, yep, you're cool. You're playing with us. Yeah, I hope it can be useful. And I think I have a different viewpoint than the long established vloggers. You know, they'll have more hands-on, boots on the ground experience for me, at least at first. But a lot of them started off, or at least started YouTube, I would say older than me by at least 5 years. And now a lot of them are in their late 50s or early 60s. And Jasper's younger than me, but he's kind of the higher end expat BGC style, between BGC and Barkine. That's not a knock at all on Jasper, because there's lots of really smart, well off young men that can become expats, and he's perfect for what they need. And he's been extremely helpful for me, so I give a lot of credit to Jasper. What my lifestyle is going to be like, probably watch Overstay Road. And what's funny is, before Chia actually became a thing, I had been watching Overstay for about the same time that I found Jasper. I want to say that's like last October or November. But when I mentioned it to Chi, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I watched him too. I like it. I like his family and family life, and they have a simple life." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of my goal when I get there, how I'd like to live." And she's like, "Me too, exactly." So she and I are just clicking away. She's a sweetheart. Not only is she gorgeous, she's super sweet. She should be waking up soon, because it's now 5:30 in the Philippines. So she'll be waking up pretty soon to open her store. Sometimes before she gets out of bed, she messages me. Sometimes she opens the store and then messages me. Either way is fine. When I was there, I would take a group of like 6 or 8 to dinner, and it would only be about $20. Yeah, yeah, man. It's depends where you take them and what they order, but you know, something like Jollibee, it's shocking. I mean, imagine going to McDonald's with 8 people, with the current inflation prices on the menus. You would easily be over $100 or $150 just to feed 8 people McDonald's. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I think Jasper and I are both bringing new useful viewpoints and experiences and upcoming experiences as opposed to the long established vloggers, because now a lot of them seem like they're switching from their previous just every few days putting out a long form video. Now they're doing walk and talks, including Geo. Now most of those guys are doing live streams. In fact, Geo does a live almost every day now. He didn't used to do them. I don't remember him doing them at all, maybe once a month. So the YouTube market for content is changing, and I think some of that's normal, but I also think channels like Jasper's, and hopefully when I get there, mine will take off too and do well. We're kind of changing, and I'm not going to say me, I'm not affecting anything yet, but Jasper, I think, has had an effect on the other Philippines YouTubers, even ones that stopped going to Jasper, even if they went to somebody else later for whatever reason. Yeah, I agree, Jester. Like you and I, Jester, man, we've got to get together. I know you're going to be up at Subic at least until you retire or whatever, but I think we would have a really good time together, all of us, and can at least get together often, because it's not expensive to travel around the Philippines. But I think between you and I and Jasper, and I'm sure others, we can make some waves, because Jasper has already kind of changed what other content creators are doing. Not only have a lot of Filipinos started doing live streams, and I don't mean the connecting lives, I mean the Jalays and Jessels and things like that. Geo is now doing walk and talks. Geo is now doing basically daily live streams, and along with other ones. I see Mike's Philippine Retirement doing live streams pretty often. Shoulders already did one basically every day, at least during the week. So I don't think he has changed what he's been doing. But he doesn't, man, he's what, 60 or 61? He does not look it. That dude is in great shape. I know he and Jasper have a little bit of competitive spirit between them. I'm not going to say necessarily a problem between them, but if somebody's your main competitor, that's going to put you kind of on the defensive, because I give away some of the secret sauce. Hey, Peter, welcome. Just or leave it. The other thing will be handled later on if what's his face pops in. Yeah. Yep. That'd be a lot of fun. But I mean, we also may be able to help guide, like, there's a waterfall really close to Valencia that I want to go to, and it's still like a half hour, 45-minute hike, I think, into the waterfall. And I forget the name of it, but there's actually a video that has Mary Rose in it toward the last 5 or 10 minutes, because she was running late. So the guy and his Filipina had already made it all the way out to the waterfall, and then Mary showed up. And it was like 7 years ago. So that was interesting. She sent me the link for that. I'd have to find it again or ask her to post it. We have we're coming out younger, and that changes things. And also it's influencing other younger Americans and other younger foreigners to come sooner. The whole COVID, forced people into remote work, and that opened a lot of companies to be like, hey, some of them, went remote work and are forcing people back, and they're getting a lot of problems with trying to force people back into the office. Like, people are like, I'll just get a different job. I'm good. Thanks anyway. Even if they make a little less, they would rather work from home or a hybrid. But it opened up, the sniffles opened up the digital nomad thing really, and changed the whole working environment in a lot of the developed countries. So now there's a lot more people that are younger that can work remotely. And the fact that they can work remotely, as long as they get approval, or even if they don't get approval, if they don't have to be in the office like a certain day a week or something, if they don't only have to show up like one, even if it's once a month, hopefully it's a remote, not a hybrid, they can go to the Philippines or Thailand or wherever they want to go that they have a good internet connection, and they can do their work. And people can do that in their 20s. People can do it in their 30s or 40s. They don't have to be 50s or 60s on Social Security to go to the Philippines anymore. So it's changing the landscape, and younger people need a different style of content. It needs to be a little more fast-paced, a little more interesting. Yeah. It didn't really change a whole lot for me because of the nature of the shipyard. We've got to go to the shipyard to work on ships. So that is what it is. But I did telework for like a month, and that was interesting. I had horrible internet at the time, so it was a nightmare. But the one and only Nicole needs to go on holiday for at least a day, if not full time there, Jester. Nice to see you, one and only Nicole. I'm good, but thanks for the interesting invite. Ha! Yeah, you don't get to just retract your message. That's either a one-day ban or a hide, so you're gone. If you come into the channel and you make stupid comments, you win stupid prizes. And the ban button doesn't call me anything. Oh, yeah, well, the other part of it was a golden shower. So if you don't know what a golden shower is and apply that to Tinkletown, then that's just a lack of knowledge, Chester. Come on. What did they say that Trump had Russian working girls do over him when it allegedly at a hotel in Russia? Yeah. Gonna come in and troll. You're gonna get a. They must be into BDSM because they end up getting a boot in their ass. Tinkletown. What do you do if somebody gets stung by a jellyfish? Pee on it. Pee on the jellyfish sting. So yeah, younger expats want different content. Jasper already knew that and was already preventing it. But it has definitely forced other people to change their major format content, and also shown them that live streams can be real profitable. Now, I don't know. I haven't really been in the other live streams to see what they're getting for super chats. I was in one a couple times, and it was like $1.99, $2.99, occasional things. But I think that channel does like a once a month, and he does StreamYard. So I'm not going to name the channel, but he does StreamYard, and if he's getting a stream of super chats, then that's basically, yeah, I know, Peter. He focuses on reading or giving the most attention to super chats, so it kind of forces people, if they want their comment read, to buy a $2 or $3 super chat. But I'm excited about it. And the nice thing is, with the money I'm getting from the VA, if I get monetized, it's helpful. I don't have to have money from YouTube to be or stay in the Philippines. I'm doing it because I choose to do it, and I already want to take pictures and video to share with my son and daughter and my parents and show them what I'm up to. So it doesn't really make it a whole lot harder, instead of just a sloppy family video that is uncut. I just do a little bit more, or I approach it a little more formal, and maybe slap some stuff on the beginning and the end, or stitch some things together. But yeah, visit many places because of RG. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, definitely traveling around. You just gotta not be drinking and end up running your mouth about things you wouldn't if you're sober. And even if you have totally pure intentions, don't put yourself in a situation that some dum-dum that has nothing better to do than be dick police, as Cal calls it, are making troll videos or accusation videos, framing you and editing your video to make you look like a predator or a user or something. Yes, you know who we're talking about. I'm just not saying the name. You could call him RG or you could call him SB. So you don't need to talk bad about other people. I may lightly say something here or there, but I'm not going to run around trashing anybody. I'm moving to the Dumaguete area, and I'm not trashing any of the established older expat channels. I'm just saying that we bring a new, fresh take on some of the way we present things, talk about things, because we are a bit younger. And for me, working in the shipyard, guys on submarines, except for the more senior guys, most of the guys on submarines are probably under 30. So I was on submarines for 13 and a half years, and I've been working on them as a Navy civilian in the shipyard for 16 and a half years. So I've got, 29 and a half or almost 30 years of experience being around and on submarines and subsailors. And they're still the young guys. I'm older. I've got lots of knowledge that I have and do give to them and try and help them avoid some of the pitfalls that I had. But I shoot the breeze with 20 to 27-year-old enlisted sailors and officers, even after I got out. And even though I was enlisted when I was in, I was an E6 when I got out as a work control and 246. I'm on the GS scale side, which is white collar side. And as a GS 11, that's technically equivalent to a 03 full lieutenant. And then our people that are test engineers, those are GS 12s, and those are equivalent to a lieutenant commander, 04 in the Navy. Yeah, some of the behaviors just, yeah. Some of the behavior is just dumb. I drink some, but I don't even remember the last time I was drunk. It's been a long time since I was even buzzed, but I'm careful to not overdo it. One, I don't like getting sick, and two, I don't want to ever be out in public and get myself into trouble. I'm not worried about fighting, but I don't want to get rolled or led astray. And I wouldn't want to be so far gone that I started running my mouth. But it's so ingrained into me for 30 years that even if I was slobbering drunk, I still wouldn't talk about things. So I'm still very patriotic, very proudly American. So I'm sure some of my stuff is permanently monitored because of some of the jobs I had in the military. But the U.S. has nothing to fear from me. I have nothing but love for the U.S. I may disagree with certain political things that are done, but I'm in no way an extremist or someone talking bad or down on the American government. I am just sick of the cost of living from the inflation, and I'm tired of dealing with Western women. So I'm just stating that for the camera in case anybody ever tries to say, because I'm proud American. I wouldn't give up my American citizenship. I would never break my non-disclosure agreements. So I've stated that for the record. And also, if there's bad people watching, I'm just letting you know, there's nothing that you're gonna come after me on to break security on anything that I may have had access to in the past. And luckily, it's been so far in the past that it would even really be useful anyway. But useful or not, I know I am under a lifetime NDA. Yep, better life, better girl, low stress. And man, dude, she's got hundreds and hundreds of hours of video up. She's close to, if not at, 13,000 subscribers now. She's bringing in money on her own. She's already told me without me asking that she's laid down the boundaries with her family so that they're not pushing her all the time as the breadwinner. She's really put her younger two sisters through school, and she sacrificed for the family, and she's been the one paying all the taxes, and she's the one that saved for, set up, and has been running the Sorry Sorry store, and she'll hand it over to her mom basically, but she's still gonna be making payments for a while to pay some stuff down so that they don't have any kind of financial burden from her leaving, which is, I totally support that. I totally agree with it. But she's got it set up so that the younger two sisters can kind of take over the breadwinner role. Yeah, we'll be like Gio and Mia. I'm not done. Yeah, I'm going into the relationship quick, but I also am very good at reading people, and I can kind of project ahead, like, okay, I see how this person acts on camera, and I don't mean like Chile or something. I mean, she is just herself in her live streams. She's just very genuine and friendly. She remembers people when they come in. She has genuine concern if somebody says they're not feeling well or they're not doing good. That's genuine concern. And that's from, I observed her for a couple months before she kind of hit the market, and I was able to snatch her up. And she and I are just going to have a blast. When do I think I'll buy a ticket? Hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday. And the reason I'm waiting that long is I've already contacted the veterinarian, and I need to, they said either today or Monday they should have a plan for me as far as they were going to do some checking. Like, the lady was the only person on the phones, and she had like 4 lines on hold, so she couldn't really be dedicated to me right then. She didn't have an answer for if that vet's office is already linked into the USDA's vaccine tracking site. If they are, it's very easy for them to look at Ash's health records and submit a thing through that system showing that he is microchipped. That's a requirement. And that he is the main thing is rabies vaccinated. So he's chipped, he's rabies vaccinated, and that information goes onto a form for the USDA, and the USDA reviews it. And if it's submitted electronically, then I think they either send it to you or send it to the vet or make it available as a link to download a PDF or something. And then once you have that, it's got to be sent to a Filipino governmental authority that is the ones that review all the health documentation coming in and make a determination if they're going to grant you essentially a doggy visa. It's not called a visa, but it's something like animal import authorization form, something to that effect. But they don't have a website. They do have 2 email addresses and a phone number. So I don't know if they only take submissions via snail mail or if they can take submissions through email, and if they're able to process it quickly and tell you, okay, we're going to approve it, but somebody said it's like $3,000. So they may be like, hey, it's approved. As soon as you send us 3,000 USD, we'll approve it and send it back to you. And hopefully sending it back to me means electronically authorized and certified through email or a website download link. Like I said, they don't have a website for submissions, at least not on the website I was looking at. That's a US company that deals with them and other countries around the world for people taking animals on vacations, if it's a service animal, or that are moving overseas and want to take their pets with them. Some Filipinos need to be chipped if you found the wrong one. Wow. I do not endorse chipping anyone, and that includes children. Some people are like, oh, we should put microchips on our kids. Well, first of all, everybody would know where that microchip is implanted, and if somebody was going to abduct them, they would just instantly remove that chip, so that would do nothing. And all that does is open the door and set the precedent for, oh, well, now older people could wander off, and oh, well, we want to, let's say you're in an accident and you're unconscious and you don't have your cell phone, or your cell phone was damaged, and we want to know your health record and if you have any special health issues or allergies. So we just want to be able to wave this wand over, oh, I know, over your hand so that we know, you can't have penicillin or something. And I know you made it a joke, but it's a thing. And I'm on you should know from the conversation the other night with Legend that I am aware of most of the conspiracy things. I may not agree with them, or I may have my own spin, but there's a lot of the things that people roll their eyes at, like microchips, even now, that we're really not far away from. And a lot of that started with the sniffles time and having that paper jab, essentially passport. WHO already wants to have a digitized version of that. And they want to link that to your passport. They're like, well, then you don't have to have a separate document and they don't have to look anything up. They scan your passport, look at the number, and it comes up and it tells them, oh, he's got the jabs, he's got the boosts. And it's just going to get expanded, and it's all for incrementally increasing control. And that'll be applied to, there's already at least one credit card out there that is set up to help you be more sustainable and reduce your carbon footprint. You can, I don't know if it's automatic at this point, but it'll track all your purchases of things and give you an idea of your carbon footprint. And I think there's optional things you can place on the account yourself optionally for now, to be like, it may auto decline certain purchases because you used up what you have voluntarily set as your own carbon consumption / carbon credit usage, that quickly is going to become obligatory, also known as mandatory worldwide. It will come in the US. Yeah. As is their social credit score thing. I mean, if you have a bad social credit score over there in Winnie the Pooh country, then you can't rent a bike. You can't get an airline ticket. You can't ride a train. You can't get a bank loan. And if you think they're not going to apply that to not just health stuff, but it can be something like jaywalking. They've got the cameras everywhere. You jaywalk, and then they know with facial recognition who you are, and they've got big jumbotrons all over the place, and they put people up. Oh, Joe Smith jaywalked today. Everybody shame him when you see him. Yeah, and while that's convenience, you wait. There's going to be a time where that's going to be basically state to state. And then eventually it'll be, we need to scan you before you leave your area to see, do you have carbon credits to support wherever you're going? Yeah, that's craziness. So that stuff is expanding, and things that 10 years ago people thought were crazy, 5 years ago people were like, I don't know, maybe we should pay attention to this, are now coming into effect in other places. And if you think it's not going to come to the US, you're an idiot, because it is. And I believe that's why all of a sudden there's all this talk in the Philippines of coming out with like 12 different visas. It's all global control behind the scenes to shut down and reduce and limit foreign travel, because the planet and for the kids and for the climate. So that's my rant about that stuff. But there's a lot of people that don't think it's going to happen. Same thing with possible dollar crash. They don't think it could happen. I think the student loan forgiveness was a first thing. If, let's say there's a big cyber attack, EMP, Carrington level event, CME, coronal mass ejection, something that takes down the power grid and or the internet for a period of time. It could be so bad that they come back and be like, well, it wiped everything out, including the records, although they're trying to have secure record keeping for people's debts and things, so that if something like that happens, it isn't just all zeroed out because they lose their records. They're finding ways of secure storage for that. But they could be like, we're just going to come back with, we've gotten the grid up now, and just to make everything fair, everybody's debts are gone, so everybody's going to be equal and have the same basic income coming in, and we'll have a CBDC, central bank digital currency, and you'll have a card or a chip, and that'll also prevent people from doing nefarious things on the internet, because now you're going to have a digital ID to do anything on the internet, whether you chip into your phone or your computer or whatever, so that we know everything you do every minute of the day. I mean, good grief. Are we going to have to take a handful of microbot nanoparticle things every day so that when we take a poop, they can track how many logs we have in the toilet flushing down. Let's see why my passport is clean as whistle. Didn't even bring home cigars. Nothing fake. Nothing for resale. Clean. Yep. One of the reasons I'm moving to Montana in the winter and feels things go to heck. I'd rather be in the mountains. Yes. If I was going to be staying in the U.S., I would very highly think of Montana. And I'm not the only one that thought so, because my mom's brother, he and his wife and his son and daughter and their families, it's been like 10 or 12 or 15 years ago now, but left Michigan and moved to Montana. So yeah, losing cash is definitely a big problem, because then they know where every flipping penny or peso, centavo is. Very rapidly digital payment. They've already started with Gcash, but it's going to become the norm even in the Philippines. Even people that don't think that's going to happen, digital payment in. Yep. Well, who is it? James Hetfield, the lead singer of Metallica, just a few years ago moved from San Francisco to like the mountains in Nevada or somewhere, because he likes to go hunting, and he got tired of dealing with the idiots in San Francisco giving him trouble when he would come back with a deer or an elk strapped to his truck or whatever from a hunting trip. Very little people and can survive off the land. Yep. But see, let's say the power's out. Unless you've got solar, even if you have, and solar could be hard in the winter, unless you have a generator, but a generator takes fuel, and if the grid goes down, fuel's going to run out, fuel's going to go bad. You'll freeze to death in Montana. I know you can have wood fires and things, but at some point, you either have to have a huge stockpile of stuff before the winter hits, or you're going to freeze to death or go hungry. That's where, if we buy a place in the Philippines and the dollar crashes or something, and if we own a place outright, then I don't have to leave. We can live off what she makes, even if she had to go to work locally there instead of doing YouTube, because all we'd have to worry about is basically utilities and food. And if it came down to it, I'd get a fishing license or whatever I needed to do in a little John boat and go catch some fish while she's working, doing whatever. Topic of discussion is obviously, as usual, relatively slanted to the Philippines, but we're also kind of covering possible societal collapse, global control stuff with identifications and tracking and social credit scores and all sorts of things that would probably get me shadow banned on YouTube if I'm not already. So it's actually quite interesting. Well, it's not just that Americans are building, and I think dumbs are a big thing. I don't know if a lot of people don't know what a dumb is. A dumb is a deep underground military base. And whether that's a military base, although most of them like that in the U.S. would probably have been made by the military or the government. So you could say government. I think it's not just dumbs. I think there's whole cities in places under the U.S. They claim there's nothing in Denver, but with the mound of dirt that they excavated and the stuff that they say was closed off and not used, that was going to be for baggage, but they didn't use it because of fungal or bacterial growth or something. Come on. There's big stuff under the Denver airport. Is it aliens? I'm not saying that at all, but maybe it's kind of a Cheyenne Mountain kind of complex super dark military stuff, which I have no inside knowledge on. This is anything I say to that effect is 100% just off of the various YouTube channels or things like Ancient Aliens or various shows that are on syndicated TV. So not in any way saying anything is fact, and I'm not spreading misinformation. I'm just having a interesting conversation about various topics. I saw an interesting thing that I'm not sure what to make of, and I opened the article and jumped back. Trying to look at the article was pausing my live stream, and then I closed it and didn't actually look at it. But it's a headline yesterday that the medium range missiles that the U.S. took in, they're going to remove them. And I was curious to read why. That kind of concerns me. I don't think they would flip on the U.S., but maybe they're tired of some of the hassling they're getting from Winnie the Pooh. So maybe they're going to ease up on some of the things they've had us do or ask us to do or allow us to do. Just to get Winnie the Pooh to ease up on them a bit. But, man, because let's say they or Vietnam flipped on us, just little things like that could be a big deal. The Philippines is very important to our interests. I mean, our help is important to the Philippines, but will they ever flip over and support Winnie the Pooh? I would want to say no. But if they did, oof, that could get ugly really quick for all of us that are living or about to be living there. How far I'm reaching out with my live stream? I don't know what you mean by reaching out with it. I'll tell you, I'm getting good hours. I did 3 live streams on the 3rd. I only did one yesterday because Jasper did 2 separate live streams, and it was supposed to be 15 minutes between, but I think it was more like an hour. YouTube was bad about sending notifications, so I was late to getting into the second one, even though I was actively refreshing my notifications, and then I finally clicked to his channel, and it said he was live, and I scrolled through the chat, and it looked like he had been live for a bit. YouTube never sent a notification. The one that he had done the night before, what he was frustrated about, he ended after 4 minutes, 55 seconds. The notification was delayed. I never saw, and that was a members only, but I never saw a notification for the second live stream that he did. So maybe expand on what you mean by how far I am reaching out with my live stream. Still waiting. I'll be checking and I'm going to click through some of my daily things. I think so too. I just am a little concerned that all the harassment that Winnie the Pooh's doing, that maybe they would reverse course on some of the closeness they've been doing with us even if they don't flip in a line with Winnie the Pooh, maybe they would be a little less buddy-buddy with us, just to get them to ease up on some of the harassment that they're dealing with at their little outpost ship and also the fishing vessels. If I was concerned, if I was scared of stuff happening in the Philippines, I would not be moving there at all, let alone in the next 5 weeks. I mean, I'm going there as soon as I am because I think things are going to happen in the US, and I think that can involve conflicts in other places. And if I thought that the Phils was a place that was going to become a problem, I would not be moving there at all, let alone immediately. Right now, I feel like I will be... Dog! Get out of there. Son of a bitch. Hang on, guys. My dog has all of his cords wrapped around him because he can't just sit quietly in one place. Get out of there. Dummy. Go away. He goes under the table and instead of laying quietly, moves his head around and basically spaghettis all of my 4 or 5 power cords around his fucking nose and then wants to get up. All right. I don't know, man. I mean, safe from outside conflict, but I don't know that I'm going to say they're safe. I mean, look at that huge earthquake they had in Christchurch a few years ago. Oh, I think you're wrong, Peter. I think you're absolutely wrong. I believe China and or Russia will use North Korea as a proxy and basically force them to do something with promises to little Rocket Man. It's okay if your country gets nuked because we'll give you some kind of position and places in China or Russia. So to say that China would never let North Korea do anything, I think you are sadly mistaken, my dude. China or Russia will absolutely use them to do something and try and say that their hands are clean. You're right. We would take them out fast. We would probably blow them into smithereens very fast. But could they potentially significantly hit SK or Japan, and then we would basically be retaliating after the fact? They could launch on both places and screw up both places bad, especially if they take out certain things. They're important ports and strategic partners for us. Yeah, we would trounce them and turn them into a glass parking lot, but that would be after they had already done catastrophic issues. Yes. Yep. NK will hit South K and probably Japan. China will go for Taiwan. More stuff will pop off in the Middle East. Probably will go hot conflict US, China, NATO, not China, but Russia. Yeah. Some people know stuff as far as being informed. Other people are like, oh, that would never happen. That's far-fetched. Uh-huh. Think how many things in the last 5 or 10 years. Guam is an absolute target that would be gone immediately. I would not fly to Guam. Why? Guam is part of our missile defense system. Guam is a vital base for Marines, for the Navy, both surface and submarines, to resupply, not refuel for obviously our submarines, but resupply, repair, all sorts of stuff. Guam would get hit very quickly too. Yeah. Iran, I mean, Putin just went to NK. He went to Vietnam, and I believe he was just in or met with somebody from Iranistan. Moved to Iceland. Iceland or Greenland, I don't know. Isn't Greenland the one that by the name is like reversed, so Greenland's covered by ice and Iceland's relatively green? Something to that effect, I don't know. Yeah, Peter, BRICS is a big problem. Where is Chi? She could be sleeping, or it could be internet and or blackout problems. Oops, this one doesn't have Facebook on it yet. And I can't look at that one. I can look at this one. Do some detective work. Sneaky, sneaky. Not trying to be sneaky, I'm just being funny. She is active. Hi, Nicole. Some people's kids. Or she's in here lurking, not saying anything, just to see what I was saying. If you're going to wake up, say good morning. Say hello. I'm going to go open my store. Don't get up for an hour and then be like, when I say good morning, oh, I'm in the store. I've already been up fucking around for a while. Okay, so why didn't she send me a message, good morning? I mean, all right, take it easy, Peter. Oh, my goodness. Roasted bugs. I got to blow them away. Yeah. I don't understand people sometimes. All right, I got sidetracked. Fiji. I don't know. I think T-Man pretty well indicated indirectly that there's shenanigans going on in Fiji, probably related to trafficking, and I think he was trying to tell them without saying it that we know you're doing stuff and we're coming for you. That time it was really weird. He was having a press conference and he needed a drink, and he picked up the water bottle and it was Fiji water, and he was like, two hands, and he's like drinking out of it like that. I feel like that was directly telling whatever people were doing bad things in Fiji, we know we're coming for you. Ha 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 ha. Right, but I'm sure they like punched a hole through the old passport so it's no longer valid. How's the cleaning of physical possessions coming along? I have been sitting on it. I don't have an excuse. I've been sitting on it. I did discuss it when I first started up today. I'm last weekend I was super tired because they had me non-voluntarily moving from swing shift after 11 months to day shift, and I was exhausted. And then this weekend, it's 4th of July weekend, so I'm like, F it. Take it easy, Mark. Thanks for stopping in, man. I appreciate you being in here. This one's 4th of July weekend, and then I'm gonna basically have to hammer down and get it done because I do not have a lot of time left. So you may see no live streams from me for a while, or maybe I'll do one on a Friday night, or maybe I'll do one Friday evening and one like Saturday evening, just to get some time in and say hi and hang out with everybody about the same time as I do now. But I will be definitely forcing myself to get on the ball and get my stuff gone through. And I've already decided if it's not something that is already or could become like an heirloom kind of thing or super important collectible for me or important information or something that I might possibly ship or want to set aside here, most of my stuff is going to be sold, go in the trash, or donated. I may not ever have an opportunity to ship stuff over. I may set aside certain things just in case I do gain the capability to do that. So I haven't really started it yet. Chip has been going through and cleaning stuff. He's already got about a third of the house cleaned up. I may ship some things. In fact, some I need to keep it in mind. I need to write it down, or I need to use something to make a list. I may go ahead and find a way to find somewhere that I can ship some things, and the some things that I could ship now, and hopefully they would be there semi quickly after I get there, would be like my morning chi. Since you just woke up, would be like my Ninja cookware. On one hand, I'd like to take it with me because it's really good, but it may just be more cost effective, even with an import fee, to have a new set shipped in on Amazon. Because by the time I ship, slow boat ship, or whatever, the heavy butt box of Ninja cookware to the Philippines, there would probably be a significant shipping fee, so I'm probably better off just to give it to somebody or sell it and buy a new set when I get there through Amazon. How you doing, Philip? I think I said hi before. It is hot. Hot, hot, hot today. I would like to take my shirt off, but I might get a strike for them claiming it was nudity. And I'm super hairy, as you can already tell. But this is kind of like my low-key 80s look, you know, back to the old school 80s style, kind of open at the collar line, showing off the chest hair from the old Magnum PI days. Yeah, but you looked like you were choking yourself with a coconut. I have drank many young coconuts in Hawaii. So I'm not going to look like I'm drowning myself with a fresh buko. You look like Trump drinking out of a Fiji water bottle. You were like, oh, coconut milk. Oh. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not going to get a strike for having my shirt off. I'm talking because of man boobs. Yeah, I saw you're short of drinking a coconut water. I'm like, really, dude? I love you, but man, how do you? I am already a pro at drinking. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, the gym will help with it some, but at some point with age, there's only so much you can do unless you've kind of maintained the whole time. Sorry, I have to do my. She and I have to do our morning greetings, kissy kissies over the chat. I kind of like the blue hands holding the heart because the heart's in the chest and that's where the boobs are. So it's almost like, cupping. I'm cupping. So nice. But I am about to take my shirt off, even though I'm super pale and super hairy. Because it's hot as a mofo. It says 86 degrees. 86 degrees in town where it's cooler because it's close to the water. That means it's probably a solid 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which, to the handy dandy Google, 90 Fahrenheit to Celsius is 32.22 degrees Celsius. Yes, I understand that is low compared to what it was in the Philippines when it was the hot, dry season. And it's probably about that a lot of the time for the Seattle area. 90 degrees is very hot because about 10 months out of the year, we're in the 60s. Wow, you're 180 now. You're squishing me. I can't breathe. How tall did you say you are, Jester? I know I need to lose some weight. Good grief. Now I'm feeling self-conscious. I'm down 11 or 12 pounds. Yesterday, before I showered, I was a flat 225. And 2 months ago, before I started selling the house, I said 235. I was 235.8, so I was 236. So you are 1 inch taller than me. I'm 5'8". When I got out of the Navy, I was at my weight limit for the physical readiness tests. You had a bracket you could be in, and the high end of my height before they would go to measuring your neck and your waist, which they've gone away from now, I believe, because they realized some people have basically no neck, and so their neck is enormous, and they may have a little bit smaller waist, but they had really bad Dunlop's disease. Their belly Dunlopped over their belt. So there were people that were getting kicked out of the Navy because they didn't meet the measuring requirements, because they were over the weight requirement, and so they were outside of Navy standards, but they were weightlifters. They were ripped weightlifters. They were not obese like by a pound. Meanwhile, some of these shorter guys that had necks the size of tree trunks had massive Dunlop's disease, and we're like, how are you kicking out these guys that are in good shape and weightlifters and buff? And that fat piece of junk, first class for the last 15 years, is getting must promotes and early promotes, and you're kicking the other guys out. You're stupid. It took a while to get some new leadership in the Navy. It was like, yeah, this is probably stupid. We lost some really good people because we were being stupid. I was 143 to 147 until 98, because when I was in C school, we were on a pretty heavy mandatory PT program, and so I was weightlifting with the guy in my class that later became my brother-in-law, now my ex-brother-in-law. Not only did I get divorced from the first wife, but her younger sister that he married and had like 5 kids with died 2.5 years ago from cancer. But we started weightlifting, and I, at that time, still had a high metabolism, so I had to eat normally, plus go on like a 2,000 or 3,000 calorie a day weight gainer shake. And I was benching more than my weight. It wasn't a big amount, and then we got busy, and I had to stop doing it. But the weight gainers, I jumped from like 143 to 153 in about a month. And then I feel like that kind of I think it kind of sorry, excuse my French. It messed with my metabolism a bit. And then I had to be a little more careful with what I ate. And that was kind of the beginning of that. But when I got out of the Navy in 2007, I was 182, which was the max. Hey, Matets TV, Megalef, shout out. Good morning, Magandang Magapo. Yeah, I don't drink a ton of beer, and I rarely get Blue Moon, even though it's basically my favorite. I don't get it much because it's expensive, so I go for the High Life. which obviously is not a low-calorie beer either, but it's not as rich as, say, Blue Moon. I don't think I'll ever get back down to 182. I would be happy just getting down to 200 at this point. 190 or 200 I think would be good. But my highest was, I think my highest was 236, maybe it was 238. But I'm down to 225 now. Nice picture, Chi. It's not an inappropriate photo, but I won't show it just because she'd be embarrassed. It's totally appropriate, but I will say that even when she just wakes up and sends me a picture and her eyes are still barely opening, she looks gorgeous just immediately when she wakes up. So you don't have to have hot water first. I think of coffee as enriched hot water. It is good to have hot something, whether it's tea or coffee or warm water or hot water first thing. And the reason for that, it warm or hot loosens up your tissues, just like it opens up your pores in the shower. And that is warm or hot water or hot tea or coffee helps flush your kidneys first thing. So that is one of the things that actually makes Asian countries real healthy, is they basically wake up to hot tea in the morning, and that really flushes the stuff that it was accumulating from all your cells regenerating overnight and stuff. So it is wise to drink something warm or hot first thing. I don't think it necessarily has to be pure water. Look, I reconnected there for a moment. I think that was probably just my Starlink jumping satellites, or satellite transiting behind my big black walnut tree. Let's see what time. I went live pretty early. I think it was 1 or 1:30 because I'm already at 1:58. So very shortly here, I'll end it and restart it, since I'm nearing the time that YouTube starts acting weird. I like those, but the one that I really like the best with my Death Wish, I get, it may be called Italian sweet cream or just sweet cream, is Philippines wheelchair accessible. I'm sure there are places that are and places that are not. We would probably have to ask that in Jasper's live stream, because probably the best place would be BGC, and he's had condos in a number of buildings, Peter George Washington. So I would say talk to Jasper in the Philippines in his live stream, or do a consultation and ask him some of those questions. I would say ask in the live stream, and then if it is and you have more questions, maybe get a consultation with him, because he's very, very knowledgeable about BGC, and that would probably be the best place to start off. I don't know that lower developed areas are going to be super wheelchair accessible. BGC, I believe, has nice sidewalks and things. I know there's a lot of walkways that are elevated that go over streets, but I don't know if they have inclined, if those walkways to get back down to street level are inclined. There's probably not elevators like they have in the US for them. So they may be stairs. So that might be Ishi. Hanako, why Hanako? I missed something. Why Hanako? Hey Gemma, good morning. Sold your car, most of your belongings heading over there later this year. Got to get my hands on a woman again before I die. Oh, that's probably Hanako. Yeah, it's George Peter Wilson. I would think that I don't know what your income is, so maybe you can give us an idea. I'm not asking exactly how much you get a month. But if you have a decent amount coming in every month, I'm sure you would be very comfortable in BGC, which is Bonifacio Global City, which is kind of like the Beverly Hills of the Philippines, but that doesn't mean everything is Beverly Hills expensive. It's high end for the Philippines, but a lot of it is very, very affordable for people from the US. Wheelchairs are available, or wheelchair accessible is expensive. No worries, Chi. I'm glad you got some extra sleep. Just usually when you're up at, or you message me later like this, you've been up for a while opening your store, so I wasn't sure if that was the case or if you slept in. I'm glad you slept in a bit. You needed some extra rest. I know you were up late because of the dinner at your auntie's house. And then I know you made like 4 shorts, and I think you said you went live again for watch hours, so you slept till 12 o'clock? No. You went to sleep at 12 o'clock. Wow, that's, I'm sorry to hear that, George, or Peter George Wilson. I called you Peter George Washington, my bad. Yeah, you could definitely live it up for 6 months or probably even a year in BGC. Wow, that's, if this isn't a troll account, I'm sorry to hear that, but let's see, July 1st. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. If all of that is true, Peter George, I wish you well. Yeah, you could definitely do what Jester just said, get a handicap accessible place. Cebu City, I don't know how their sidewalks are. A lot of Manila isn't great with sidewalks, but I believe places like BGC, Makati, and probably Westwood. Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe this is a troll account because the guy's account was made on the 1st of July. So maybe he's serious, but give me a 1 in the chat if this sounds like maybe it's Jordan. I feel like Peter George might be Jordan. It just, I go, feels like Jordan. Maybe not. If you're legit Peter George, good luck on that. Seems to come in here and ask me if it's wheelchair accessible and say that you already have somebody lined up to bury you after 6 months. If you know somebody that can bury you for 500 pesos after 6 months, I feel like you would already know if it's wheelchair accessible. So I feel like this is a troll account, very possibly Jordan Melby Vlogs being stupid. If you're not, I apologize, but this is exactly the kind of stupid stuff that somebody would come in and say that's trolling or is Jordan. I don't feel like somebody that's this close to death would randomly come into my little channel and say things like that. I can see being like, I don't have a lot of time left. I'm going to go to the Philippines. Is it wheelchair accessible? But to then ask me if it's wheelchair accessible and say that you already found somebody. Phil Dreams. Oh, look, there's another one. It's not Jordan. You're telling me it's not Jordan. Why does that mean Phil Dreams, you're Jordan? That one, Phil Dreams, was made in February this year. No, Kuya, it's legit. Alan Garcia. April. Interesting. I feel like whoever it is owns all three of those accounts and is using the three accounts to tell me that it's for real. Dan Dreams. February. Yeah, maybe. Now we have 4 accounts all made this year with 0 to 2 or 3 subscribers claiming he's legit. I think that is one person that has multiple accounts. Mio Ryder, Megalef shout out. They're all your. Oh, look, and now we have Michael Hunt. I'm not going to say your name because I know that joke. Michael Hunt, just like Michael Hawk. Money. Let's see what the age of that one is. Oh, that's not the right one. Good try there on the name troll attempt. September 2022. Well, if he's legit, that's great that he's going to enjoy himself for his final 6, 8, or 12 months. I feel like it's probably trolls, but until you say something actually offensive, I'll leave you alone in here because I'll take the watch time. Huh? I don't understand. What are you saying, Michael Hunt? I'm not going to say your name out loud, abbreviated to Mike, because I'm not an idiot and I know what you're doing there, my dude. I think all 4 or 5 of those channels are the same person trying to back themselves up as being legitimate. And I still say it stinks of Jordan or some other schmuckatelli. Held for review. I'm Peter's broke brother. Wow. I'm just going to look at the age of that one real quick. How many extra accounts do you have? I mean, bring them in. It's giving me watch time. I'm going to hide Jim Smith's comment because that's, in fact, I'm just going to hide Jim Smith. You're banned, Peter George's broke brother. I do not endorse anybody coming over and using a woman. If you found somebody and to help take care of you and stuff, that's fine, and maybe leave him some money, but I think you're trying to get me to agree with you coming over to use Filipina for fun. Filipinas, and I'll say no women are toys. All women deserve respect, including bar girls. And now Peter Wilson has changed his name. So the accounts are either from, well, the original one was from July 1st. Yeah, here's another one. I'm not going to immediately ban them unless they say something offensive. I'm not going to ban them. Come on, hey, Chi, 24-hour. You got on my case for banning somebody for a day because it cut down on your watch time viewers, even if they were annoying. Unless they say something offensive, let them run up watch time in my channel. Yes, they are all real. Peter George Wilson's was made July 1st. The other ones were all either, one was made in April, the others were made in February of this year or September of 2022. Okay, you two. Unless they say something actually offensive, which neither of those two did. And John Hill is gone. All right, I changed my mind. They can all go away. How are they going to change? I'm trying to discriminate. Yes, I am going to discriminate against anybody that is talking about using any woman, any female as a toy. And I know, Jester, they're not all in at the same time. Maybe it's not Jordan. Maybe it's Ante. If you're going to come in and try and troll, at least have multiple devices so that you can have multiple of your spam accounts in at the same time, so it gives the appearance of potentially being legit. Oh, it's probably some idiot that found me through the shorts feed or the vertical live feed. It's no problem. Bans are free. Bans are cheap. It's okay for me. Yeah, it's fine. I don't do anything controversial, but at some point I'll become large enough that people that are bored will try and target me like Jasper, even though they won't have a leg to stand on. Because I'm not talking bad about anybody unless they're being stupid trolls. And if I do say something critical of someone, I'm not saying super bad things. I'll just maybe give a little critique and that's it. I don't do anything that is questionable. Well, I agree, it's a badge of honor. Or it's just somebody that's going through the vertical live / short feed that has a bunch of troll accounts set up. Here's another one. Let's see when this one was made. August 12. Calvin from Sunshine Shoulders would not challenge me to a boxing match. I give him positive comments all the time. He doesn't know who I am, but he's seen comments from me, and I've said nothing negative about Cal, so I know that that's total BS. I've said good things about Sunshine Shoulders multiple times in my live streams and even Jasper's live streams, even though they don't always get along. Jester, you need to, what I'll do is we'll call it the band tab, and we'll just count that against the whole trip. Well, of course, okay. Look at the description of the video. They know what the channel's about. I've got hashtags. Philippines, Passport Bros, Future Expat. Yes, the video itself and the channel say what it's about. So it's, if you look at the description of the video or the channel, they know what the channel's about because it says so. It takes about 5 seconds to see what the channel or the video are about. I have interacted positively with Andy Omar in Jasper's live stream, so I don't know why Andy would have anything negative to say about me. That's another September 2022 channel, so that's another account from the same person. I'm not even in the Philippines yet, so there's absolutely nothing to base any kind of claims that I am any kind of a predator. And my girlfriend is 32 years old. My Filipina is 32. So that's nowhere near an inappropriate age for my age. So people are just bored. I'm not angry. I'm not frustrated. I may be squinting. That's just because I'm reading. But it's fine. I take it as a badge of honor. You're so bored today on a Friday afternoon or early evening in the U.S. that you're sending your little army of accounts. Yeah, me and my huge 5 viewers, one of which is my second account. Yeah, I would almost put money that it's Jordan. And that's fine. All he's doing is giving me views and even a few minutes of watch time. No big deal. It's okay for me. Sleep na, rest a bit. Sana all. All right, so now that we've had some fun with the trolls, we'll catch the next one that comes in. Just give me a second when they come in so that I can see the age of the account, because I'm kind of keeping track. Bananas, guys, you should it first. Maybe you're hungry trolls. I feel like, Matets, you dropped one or more words out of your sentence because I cannot read that. Maybe they're in here trying to cross bananas with Jester and I. I ate. I'm not grumpy. I had food when I first started up the stream when she was still sleeping, so I'm not grumpy at all. I had my coffee already. I had food. I am a bit thirsty, Chi, for when I get there. Oh yeah, get the watch time. So what we'll do until they say something actually offensive, we'll just let them ride. So there were actually only like 3 comments that were deserving of a ban. We won't do well, anybody but Chi can do a day ban, but if you do a 24-hour ban, don't immediately leave, so that if I'm like, hey, that wasn't the right thing to do, you can click on it again, because it has to be the moderator that does it, and give them a 10-second and let them back in. But I don't think that's going to usually be the case, because I am not monetized. Make love, shout out John V, Mixed Vlog, welcome, buddy. I don't know. I got sidetracked. But unless they say something actually offensive, just let them hang. I'll take their watch time. Kind of like we did with Sandra. We messed with Sandra for a bit, finally drug her out to deep water, and somebody else ended up hiding him for a day, which was funny because they couldn't say that it was Jasper or I being thin-skinned, because it was totally somebody unrelated that's a regular in Cheese live stream that did it. Potato salad. Coming in, John V. Man, I'm at 221. Maybe I should restart this, and then that would put me right at about ending the second one at 6 p.m. I'm sure Jasper's going to have a legend. Nothing's up. We're just hanging out. We just had to ban like 7 troll accounts. But 7 troll accounts, I believe it was 1 troll. And it smelled like Teen Spirit, aka Jordan. Oh, I need water. How you doing, legend? It's 4 p.m. I'm well past 5 p.m. other places of the U.S., so I think it's beer 30. But I also need to refill my ice water. I'll take it as a, like they said, a badge of honor that I had. Whoa, whoa, spider, go away. Spiders are crazy. They can be itty bitty, like with their legs only about that big around, and they move about 1,000 miles a second. And then he sees my hand coming for him, and he like goes around the bottom of the picnic table bench, so he's probably now crawling up my back, and you'll see me scream and jump around like a little girl in a few minutes. Yeah, I don't do spiders. Legend, the reason they find a small channel like this with the vertical live streams that everybody's been pushed to do, initially they were searchable in the shorts feed, but evidently now YouTube also has a vertical live feed, or I don't know if it's separate from the shorts feed, but they can just be scrolling through shorts and come across my live feed. So if they're bored and they have a bunch of troll accounts, they'll bring them in like a little army. But so far, none of them are smart enough to actually have multiple devices to try and make the other person look legit. They all just come in one after the other and comment. They don't have multiple, which is dumb, because they're all going to have a phone and a laptop and potentially a desktop. So they probably have 2 to 3 devices. If they had any brains whatsoever, they would have multiple accounts on one channel, and they would all be commenting at like the same time, so they were all active at the same time. And that would at least make it a little more possible or believable. But when you come in one after the other trying to say that the original one was correct and none of the others are talking, you're just showing that you are in fact one person bringing 7 accounts in. But you're not bothering me because you're giving me views. all the views help. I mean, it doesn't, I'm not monetized, but I like seeing my view counter go up. So each of those is a view. And then however many minutes I let you act like an idiot until you say something worthy of a ban. If anybody has any topics or questions, anything you want to talk about, bring it up. I'm going to run inside and fill up my handy dandy water bottle and also grab a beer. But I'll come back out and read the comments. I'll talk to you as I'm in there because I love these mics, dude. They have a range. These DJI mics have a range of about in excess of 800 feet. It says like 820 feet. So we'll just round it up. In excess of 800-foot range. So I'm just getting a little more ice and ice water. Uh-oh. Nice. I probably should take a Benadryl. So I feel like my nose is starting to get a little congested. Ooh, I think it's time for a Modelo. Yes. I need to open that box up better. Modelo Negra. Delicious. And it sounds like I'm right next to my phone because of these fantastic microphones from Winnie the Pooh country. And if anybody doesn't know what Winnie the Pooh country is, the joke is that President Xi looks like Winnie the Pooh. So I'm avoiding saying the country name or the leader of that country by saying Winnie the Pooh. Not that he has any idea who I am. I'm a nobody, not unmonetized, below 1,000 subscriber YouTube channel. Do 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 do. I'm humming some music. Do 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 do. Sana all Hanako. How's everybody doing out there? Did you have a safe 4th of July? Did anybody lose any fingers or toes or appendages or get any burns? I let off precisely 0 fireworks. Chip and I just had a nice quiet evening. Well, it wasn't quiet. There were plenty of other people in the area kicking off fireworks most of the night, which poor Chip, he was unable to get much sleep before he went to work at FedEx for graveyard shift. And he's taking a nap right now. But he'll probably be up again here pretty soon. But I do need a Benadryl before my allergies get into full effect. If I catch it before my allergies really kick up, then my eyes won't be all super red. It would stop it, but it wouldn't make the red go away. All right. That's one Benadryl down the hatch. And I need a glass. Oof. All right. I'll come back out and I'll restart the live stream because I'm probably at 2.5 hours. So I'm surprised that my mics haven't started acting weird with YouTube yet. Or maybe going inside did it. All right, I am back. Audio is still good. I think Legend came and went. Sana all. Anybody else? Whoa, there's that spider again. Now he was on the table and running at me again. Anybody figure out that I just used the bathroom? I took you with me. I took you on an adventure. Fine, Nicole. All right, we are at 2:31. I am going to end the live and restart it. So I will be right back. If people come back, cool. If not, thanks for stopping by. I will be back on live again in 5 or 10 minutes. Almost like crossing swords. Hi, Nicole.